And here we go. Good afternoon, good evening, everyone, and welcome to Live with Roxanne. I'm Roxanne Shellaby, and I'm your hostess for this evening, direct from Hollywood, California. And I have a really special guest with me, and I'm very excited to share with you the amazing artist and the work of Raissa Lay, or Layla, as the case may be. And we have a lot to talk about. If you have questions out there, please feel free to post them in the chat. And we're gonna get started. And I'm so excited to have you with me. Welcome, ahla wa sahla, and thank you for your time and sharing your artistry with us today. Um, There's so much to say. So first of all, most importantly, welcome. And you are live from Paris. How exciting. And I just want you to start by telling us about who you are, what is your background, tell us about your work, and we'll go from there.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. Thank you, Roxanne, for inviting me for this incredible project of Menat Collective. That's amazing. And you already did previously a lot of work for Menat community, and I thank you for that. And that's amazing to have you from Hollywood. I love your background. This is like Hollywood. I should have like the Eiffel Tower here.
Yeah, we didn't think about that ahead of time. Next time.
Next time. And yes, it's 9 p.m. here. So thank you so much again. And well, yes, you introduced me like starting with different names because I have different lives. So my real name is Leila. I was born in Paris, but my parents came from Morocco, so east of Morocco, like millions of migrants during the 60s. Who came from North Africa after the independence of colonization to work in France to rebuild the country. So we are millions like that to have kind of double culture. And I have a lot of lives. So thanks to grants, I could study because I'm coming from a family who lived in the mountains. We are Amazigh, so Berber people. Nobody studied, and when we came in France, we had this opportunity to go further. So I'm graduated in engineering school in computer science and applied mathematics, and I have a career in finance, in risks management. And also I'm a dancer, so I have a career as a dancer, and I practiced a lot of different styles. Of course, I started with my family as social dance practice with Moroccan dances, but I started like a lot of little girls, again, thanks to a grant in a French conservatoire, so modern jazz classes from my 7 years old to my 18s. And after I discovered hip hop,
Right.
so I took classes of every style. So there are 5 big styles in hip hop, but I was very in love with funk styles because my old brothers are like 10 years older than me, and they are guys from the funk era. So I was listening a lot of funk music, and that's why I practiced locking and after walking. That is a style created in the 70s by LGBT community in Los Angeles. So that's why I love your background, Hollywood. And this is very fierce, like feminine, and also very powerful with arms. So this is how I came to walking, and I started to practice walking as it wasn't the trend, in fact, in Europe. In 2003 or 4, and after, that's why people asked me to teach, perform, and judge competitions. And after all of this, I came back to my roots. So I just noticed that the North African dances weren't really represented in Europe, especially in France. When I say represented, that was outside of the family circle. So in theaters, in institutions, in schools. And this is why I created my own group, Kif Kif Bledi, and we started to educate, to perform. So here is my background, and now this year I'm launching my activity as freelance, as executive coach. I'm certified from a business school also in yes, a lot of lives, executing coaching, leadership and change management. And I'm specialized in people like me who have several skills, multi-potential people. And also I will focus on diversity and all topics around women in companies, yes, and people who are from different culture, how they can work and evolve in a society like in France.
That is so important these days, especially, talking about, like you said, leadership and change and, diversity and inclusion. Those are so, so important. And you have such an interesting background that I think that you're going to be able to do amazing things.
Thank you
That's
so much.
really, really exciting. And can you tell us a little bit about whacking for those of us or those out there who don't know what this is about?
Yes, sure. Maybe I can do a little.
Please, please.
So walking first has been inspired by posing. So we also call this style Garbo in comparison to Greta Garbo. So it has been really inspired, yes, by the movie stars from the 50s, the movies in black and white, like
Mm,
posing, like glamour, like how, like this. So this is very classy, very elegant style from this era, like Marilyn Monroe, you see. And after, as this influence has been developed during the disco era, disco music, the poses moved into movements. So this is really funky, but also you can add some attitude. So this is really attitude. And the name to whack is like hitting very like
mm,
heavily and whack, 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 whack. So you see there is everything in this style, and this is why I really love it. There is like the technicity, especially from the arms, as it has been created by Afro and Latino people from Los Angeles era, from West Coast. There is a lot of influence like jazzy and salsa also steps from for the legs, and you are a character. You can be who you want, and when you are on stage or during battle, you can be who you want to be. And this is how I evolved in walking, and then I have been influenced to fusion, to mix, to create a fusion of walking with North African dances. Yes.
it must be very freeing, this style of dance.
Exactly, exactly. For shy people, it's really, really like making them to release, in fact, because in your mind you just say, "Hey, I'm playing a character," and
Mm,
this is what is important also for walking that I loved, and this is like coherent with all my career, like what I love, is that it is a social dance because it's practiced on clubs that they are not really
mhm.
named on the steps. We don't know exactly who started how. We have different versions, different stories of the roots. But the most important is it that it's a social dance, and this is how also I developed my walking in France because we had a big event every Sunday in Paris called Dance Culture from 6
Wow.
p.m. to
Mm.
midnight, only music, only dancers, house music. So mainly hip hop dancers, and I was coming. I came every Sunday, like walking, walking, walking in the middle of hip hop dancers, and yes, I really love that.
That's so exciting. I think I might be dating myself just a little bit, but There was a period of time that there was something called voguing. Is
Yes.
this similar to whacking? Is it the same thing, a different name, or?
That's a very good question because some people sometimes mix the two. So first, the first difference is that walking is from West Coast, as voguing is from East Coast. Voguing is from New York City,
Oh,
Philadelphia, and voguing we dance it on house music. It was
okay.
in the same, so 60s, 60s, 70s, on the creation of house music. So first, the music is not the same. Then the walking is really like um, round, you see circles, etc. Voguing is very, very codified, and there are different sub-styles. For
Oh.
example, there are categories. So, for example, there is a category called face. You only sell your face. You have to be like beautiful, like with you see like beautiful teeth and face. There is the runaway. You do runaway. So everything is linked to fashion, in fact. And there is the most what I consider as the most impressive is the vogue fame. So it's like you're very feminine, and like you can dip on the floor. And there is what I practice, the new way and old way, that is more with flexible arms, and you do like geometrical um, figures. So not figures, sorry, it's French, like posing. Yes, you understand. Sorry for my English tonight. Sometimes I do Franglish. I'm sorry. And sometimes I do sentences like French, and maybe it can be offensive in English. It happened to me
No, no,
once.
no, no.
So
Don't
please.
worry. We love to listen to your English with a French accent all day long. I'm sure everyone out there will agree with me.
Oh, Karan.
Don't worry. I wonder, you mentioned, and see, I'm already going in a different direction. You mentioned that you are drawn to the whacking because of it's like social dancing, which is very, I think, similar to our dances. The Manat dances are based on, or have a large social dancing component to them. What do you think draws you to whacking, or what do you think the connection between the traditional dances and whacking is for you?
Well, first of all, I think that is to make women beautiful. Because even if, and this is the main difference also within walking and voguing, the voguing remained in the LGBT community very strong, as the walking in the 70s quickly turned into all people who were not gay, and they developed this in movies and Broadway, etc. So this became more women dance, the walking, to show that they are powerful. And in Amazigh dances, in North African dances, this is how I see the dances from women. First, because there are a lot of dances practiced both by men and women. So that shows that women can be as strong as men. And secondly, the women, from my culture, like what I do every time I try to pay tribute to my culture through jewelry, through the clothes, through a crown, to what my grandmother and mother were wearing as facial tribal marks. And for me, it is connected to some way walking, to be fierce, to be proud of who I am.
Wow,
Yes.
I love that. That's so deep. Um, what I'm trying to think of where I want to go now. You mentioned the facial tattoos. Do you want to talk about that a little? Because there's a lot of controversy in our dance world about the facial tattoos and dancers without knowing. We as dancers and as women, we see something beautiful and we're like, wow, I love that. I'm going to paint my face, or I'm going to use that jewelry. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yes, sure. And the positive things through the sanitary crisis is that I could give some conferences and talk a lot about this topic that is linked to cultural appropriation topic. Is it cultural appropriation or not to use some fashion marks from another culture? Should we know the meanings or not? So I did some polls during my conference to ask people, have you ever used facial tribal marks during your performances, for example? And after I asked, did you know the meanings? And like almost 80% of people answered that they didn't know the meanings. So that was very instructive. And first of all, yes, a dot or a line can have a meaning. What I'm wearing tonight, and I often wear, are the fashion marks that my grandmother had and that my mother have. So this one is like the street to God. So even if Amazigh people were not Muslim originally,
right,
they were praying for goddess, So this one, for example, is palm tree. And it's the goddess of palm trees for a lot of things, for fertility, for good life, against the evil eye, etc. So there are a lot of meanings, and a dot can have a meaning of the home, or something against evil eye, or for the good health. So this is not only adornment for us. This has also some meanings for the good health, to know if you are from this tribe or this tribe or this tribe, to protect yourself also. I already told this story about this Ushem from my mother that is unusual. It was a wand to protect her against colonial kidnapping, because there were rumors of French people kidnapping little girls to send them to France. The Amazigh who had white skin, who looked like European, to send them in Europe for couples who couldn't have kids. So my grandmother was very scared, and she tattooed my mother and her sister at 8 years old. As usually, this is something the women were doing just before their wedding. Yes, that was part of jewelry, to be beautiful the D-Day. So this is very powerful. There is a lot of meaning, and the end of this is also very strong, because the generation of my mother are the last one to wear it, because it is forbidden today due to religion. Even if a country like Morocco is Muslim for a long time, people were continuing to practice this. But after, with the spread of Islam and the spread of people who were more and more able to read, they could read that it is forbidden, because you cannot modify the skin that Allah gave you. Right. Yes. So it is like scarification. So this is why, for me, this is obvious. All these meanings, all this power, all that I'm wearing on me it is obvious. But for other dancers, it is not. It is something beautiful that you put in with eyeliner for a show and that you take off. So can we say you are able or you are not able to wear it? I don't have this answer. I'm just giving some information about what it is meaning on my own culture and why the women are not wearing it anymore. And I can tell you that a lot of old women, they don't have the money enough to take them off with laser. So some women of my family took them off with acid. Oh God. Yeah. So they were so scared to be punished by God, by Allah, before dying, that they decided to remove them as they can. One of my grandmother was just like really scary, and she said, "Oh, but Allah will will tell me it's okay. I will apologize because I'm so scared to put acid, and say no, don't put acid. Yeah, and she lived until her 92 years, and with all her ocean here and on the ankles, and everything like perfect. Yes.
So there's many meanings, and these meanings are very deep in your culture and in your own family about facial tattoos. So if a dancer was to say, well, I'm going to research and I'm going to use the facial tattoos of, to be specific to a tribe or an area for performance, do you feel that that's okay?
Well, I mean, I'm trying to put myself into other people's shoes. And sometimes I don't know. For example, I say, okay, I'm going to take a culture that I don't know very well. I don't know, for example, Indian culture and culture from an Asian country. Me, I would never be able to say, oh, I love that, I'm going to put that, and without checking, without asking, without searching. So this is not something logical for me. Maybe there are other aims, I don't know. But what is very upsetting is that when we educate people, we tell it, and there are people who are remaining telling, okay, I choose that this won't have any meanings. This is really offending for people. When you just didn't know, and after, because a lot of people told me, I'm so sorry, I regret, I didn't want to offend anybody, to offend your culture. I said, yes, okay, maybe it was due to your teacher, or I don't know. Right. And you say, some people told me, yes, but it's a dot, it's a line, it's nothing for you, but it's like the basis of our life, a dot and a line about the meanings of us on Earth. So this is what is upsetting, is when people are a little bit at least educated, and they remain doing that without any good explanation. This is offending. When people, they don't know, well, they have to educate themselves, to be curious, not to follow because it's the trend, because yes, that can be offending.
Yes, and the next thing I want to talk about is something that you have been very courageous in speaking out and speaking the truth about your traditional dances and how those dances are interpreted outside of your culture by Westerners. And so I've been watching and listening, and really proud that finally someone who knows, like yourself, is speaking out. Do you want to talk about that a little bit? Or a lot?
Yes, that was a big experience. First, what I have to say is that it's not something that I just said like, hey, I'm going to talk now because I just realized that. No, I'm a fusion dancer and traditional dancer on stage for something like 12 years. I started like 12 years ago on festival, etc. So I already saw a lot of things. I already heard a lot of things, like, for example, on sharing the same stage, one woman dancing on a Quran, asking her, why are you dancing on Quran? So when we ask people, that feel like aggressed. We are just asking a question about our own culture. So I talked about a lot with people of culture. When we ask people, they feel attacked, and then they are scared. But we are just asking why. I always start my question, why? Why do you dance our Quran? Because I'm free and I do what I want. Okay, so I have to to live that. I saw a lot of, we can talk about them, American tribal dancers, so now called fashion belly dance. I shared a lot of stages with fusion dancers of a lot of styles. So I saw them, I lived with them, I was make-upping with them, and I kept quiet because I tried to ask once a question and people just were almost insulting me. So I kept quiet for 10 years, but I saw that for 10 years. But maybe it was very too early to talk about topics like cultural appropriation, ethics on dance, things like that. Because even if we are talking about that nowadays, a lot of people are not involved. They don't feel involved in this kind of topic. They feel aggressed, like cancel culture, we cannot dance anymore. Native people, they are telling us that only native people can dance their dance. So this is not what we are telling. This is just about focusing on, first, when you use a culture, are you sure you know all the culture? And secondly, are you retributing to the culture?
Yes.
Not only with money, but by making them like visible. Because, for example, in France, we are invisible. We are invisible, and this is why I created my group to make things change and to break this like cliches from the colonization. Like for French people, we are all dancing belly dance, but like on the old ages. Like belly dance can be an Algerian dancer, a Tunisian dancer is dancing with the belly. That's why in France, you will never find a belly dancer who will accept that we call her belly dancer in French, danseuse du ventre, dancer of the belly. This is very pejorative, this is an insult. As in English, belly dancer, everybody is using it. So you see how the semantic can create confusion. So to come back to the topic, what happened? Well, with COVID, people were more and more connected. And when we started to teach online, people came and some people started to ask me questions about this topic. And I realized that when I naively started to talk with a lot of people, they after took what I was teaching them, in fact, for free on the messenger or what, without quoting me, and making money with that. So I said, okay, 12 years, I kept quiet. Now, if people, they want information, I'm going to give information for free or with conferences, but I'm going to tell what I think. That was one thing. And the other thing was that when I started to show myself like involved in these topics, some people started to send me videos. Hey, look, what do you think about this step? Hey, look, what do you think about this tattoos? And what do you think about this dance called Moroccan dance and stuff like this, And I was just like, I discovered things that I never saw, and I was just like shocked. So I couldn't keep this in myself, and I said, how am I going to communicate? So sometimes maybe I became like crazy during the lockdown, but I did few videos like parodies, and some people hated that, felt offended. I can tell you that, for example, I talked with Suhaila Salampour because in the Salampour format, there is a show called Moroccan Dance, but there is nothing Moroccan inside, nothing. The music is not Moroccan, the outfit is not Moroccan, the steps are not Moroccan, nothing. So I asked Suhaila, what? I did a parody first, and after I said, Suhaila, I'm sorry, but we had very, very instructive discussion. It was like great. She was very smart, and we could have discussions, but with other people it wasn't the case. Wow. So you see how some people can react differently about what we say, the change management and like action reaction. What I developed as to rebuild and to reconstruct or deconstruct something that has been colonized, the co-construction, the co-building with native people, this was really the aim of all of this. And I could finally talk about that. And I know that a lot of people really appreciate it. Some native also felt like released, and other people, they really rejected it. Some people insulted me or boycotted me, hopefully few, but I was very surprised to see how some people can react like that about my own culture.
Right.
Yes.
This is such a fascinating topic, and I'm glad that there are people who realize, who take your advice, and other dancers of the culture who share their knowledge. And there's nothing wrong with saying I was wrong. I didn't know. I learned something, and now I'm going to change. And I'm glad that there are some people, Suhaila, for example, that are doing that. And I think this, when I started this group, the Manat Dancers Collective, many people asked me if our job was to police the dance and say, this is good, this is not good, this is good Moroccan, this is not good Moroccan, this is good Egyptian, this is not a good, and I keep telling people this is not what our mission is. Our mission is what you are doing, which is to educate, to share what we know, and to help dancers who really want to understand the cultures from the inside for their dancing, then they can do that. But that could be a full-time job for you, for people watching people's video and giving them advice.
Hopefully I didn't check everything, because
No.
I couldn't, and for mental health it's better. But yes, some people are scared of that, of like policy, etc. What I have to say also, that people maybe didn't understood, is that I was born in Europe, and the way of behaving in Europe is very different from the USA. First, because USA, you are really in advance compared to Europe about all the topics about cultural appropriation, diversity. Even if you think that it's not enough, you are really, really, really in advance compared to France.
Really?
So we are not like, I also educated myself a lot about all these concepts. Because first I said, no, I will never use the term cultural appropriation. I will never use like the tone policing. But in fact, I lived them really, really like face to face. And then this is why I can talk about these topics now. But I have been educated through this experience on the network, especially. But in fact, in France, we are not like telling people do this, no, don't do this. And it's the purpose of, for example, the coaching. You are not telling to somebody to do what they have to do. You are just accompanying them through their own way and truth. And this is my way of being. In my videos, for example, I never say don't do that or what. I just, when I say that it was very wrong, like the Berber knee walk, that's true. I say don't use the term Berber because the step is not Berber. That's all. For the rest, you can do what you want. But I'm just talking about what I know about the Zaharits. Yip. Well, the yip is not from our culture because we don't have the P letter. So that was just by elimination of, in fact, what I was doing. Very Cartesian, you see. That's all that I can say. If you want to do other things, this I cannot say anything else that what is about my culture.
Right, but you share the information, and people now, they at least they can't say they didn't know.
Yes.
And I think this was you. There was someone shared a video, and they were showing the Berber knee walk as a movement.
Yes.
And I remember that, that was the catalyst for a lot of discussion about the term Berber. and you know that it's not appropriate to use. And
Yes, but in fact, just to be precise, I was very upset, and I'm not hiding anything. I was very upset about the final conclusion about why they are not using the term Berber New York anymore. They said it's because Berber people, they want that we call them Amazigh, because Berber is root of barbarian and it's offensive. Yes, that's true. I educated a lot of people about that. Me, I can tell you, you can find videos of me when I use the word Berber. When you go to Morocco, we use Berber, in France also. So we just started to educate about that because we are also taking our own changes. It was not the real first problem. If the Berber Newalk was a real Berber name, I would never have done this video. This was really because the step, the movement was not Berber. This is why I did this video, because that make any sense to walk on all knees. Somebody told me yes. A teacher told me it's a Berber walk because you live in tents that have very low, how we say, le plafond. Yes. So this is why you have to walk on the knees. I told that to my mother. She said, "Oh, people, they have very wrong interpretation of our culture." Yeah. I was just like, she was like surprised. But that's why I'm upset. I mean, we did a lot of conferences, a lot of people came, and finally the reason of the official communication was not correct. I said, okay, well, I cannot do more.
well, hopefully we continue the conversation and we continue to educate, and the more people that know, you know, maybe that will have a more of an impact.
Sure.
Do you think that, I don't know, I find it interesting. People always want a meaning behind the movement. Do you know what I mean? Like, why do you do this movement? Oh, there has to be because the tents are low and you walk on your knees. Like, can it not be that it's a move, like we just dance and there's movements that develop for whatever reason? There doesn't have to be a story every time for every single movement.
Well, as I'm practicing different dances, I have different visions about that. I think that for all traditional dances in the world, there are meanings. There are strong meanings. For North Africa traditional dances, all the dances have meanings about all movements. There are movements to express the gratitude to the nature. There are movements for the war, to impress the enemies. For Berber Alawi, for example, there are movements who are coming from the earth to the sky, to thank God, to thank the lands. So the Amazigh dances are really, really linked to the nature, to the land, to the water. And I feel that also in other African traditional dances, in Asian traditional dances also, in Native American dances. You see that there is like the rain dance. So for me, the traditional dances are different from other dances because of that. They are, and we can explain because we manage to keep this oral transmission from generations to generations with the purpose. For example, some Amazigh dances are danced only when you pick up once a year olives. For example, the Kabyle dance is first, the first aim of this dance is to celebrate the pickup of olives to make the olive oil. So you see, there are a lot of meanings like that. But as I practice also hip hop and walking and voguing, and I practiced also modern jazz, I would say that there is also maybe not a meaning of movement, but a name or like a context. It can be political or not. For example, walking and voguing, yes, the aim was certainly political, social, because you can imagine that LGBT community in the 70s were really oppressed. So they were like expressing this discrimination through the dance to show that they can shine in this society. So this is not directly a meaning of movement, like why am I doing that or am I doing that? It's more about the global intention behind the dance. Am I dancing to be strong? Am I dancing to seduce? Am I dancing to be political? So that's how I make the difference between the meaning of micro move and the meaning of a global dance movement.
That's very interesting. I never thought about it in that way. I really connect to that a lot. What do you feel? What is your mission as an artist? What do you hope that your career, your teaching, what is your mission?
Well, my mission, I think, now is really through Kif Kif Bledi. So internal and external. Internal because I'm not alone, and I have a lot of love, lot of support with my friends, my family from Kif Kif Bledi, who are from different countries. So Algeria, Tunisia, Lebanon, and Benin, Senegal also. And we are brainstorming on a daily basis about everything, about France, what is happening culturally, but also internationally, also about politics and stuff like that. Why? Because with the time, or projects through dance became really connected to what is happening in France. Culturally, but also about what is it to be North African in France nowadays, to be probably Muslim in France nowadays, because everything is melt. And you see, my father came in France in the 60s. We are like in 2021. I'm not going to say that nothing changed, but we are not on the targets. Like I did a live in French this week, because last week there was like a bad buzz about a French woman politic who has very high level in the government, in the, we say, General Assembly. I cannot find the equivalent. Yes. She's vice president, and she said that we have to forbid the flags during the weddings, because when there is a wedding or there is like football match, there are a lot of Algerian flags, because Algerian people, they are very proud. But why are they proud? Because they have been colonized by France for 130 years. And when there has been the independence, they started to put their flag everywhere, and they are very proud to be free now. So I understand them, but the France is feeling offended and feeling attacked, and they linked everything to terrorism. Okay, if we start to make people having flags, then there will be communitarism, and then there will be terrorism. This is the logic. So finally, I didn't realize that in the beginning of the creation of Kif Kif Bledi, but now it's very linked to our place in this society. And when she talked, this woman, she said, we have to forbid the flags. And when I see the traditional dances and the shows and the music during wedding, people cannot stand that at all. We cannot stand that at all in France. And just after, a minister who was here from the law minister told her, well, when I see people dancing, I feel happy and I'm full of joy. So end of the topic. So it was a bad buzz for her. And I can tell you, when we heard that, we felt very insulted. Very insulted. Yes, like because they are like elegant dances and low level dances, like or dances are making too much noise, are annoying people in the streets. And we really felt like this, but you see how they do. She didn't tell directly North African or African or sub-Saharan, but we understood that she was talking about us because all her other topics are around Muslim people, around wearing the hijab, forbid the hijab in the public places, like the burkini. So this is exhausting. And what we want to do, really, our aim is to dissociate culture and religion, in fact, first, because now in France, they're melting everything, you see. And we want to educate French people to our culture. They don't know about jewelry or, yes, in fact, they know about our jewelry because Madonna and everything. And when it's beautiful and you can buy it and make business, like the carpets, Berber carpets, 2,000 euros. Come on. When it's Hisham who is selling them, nobody is coming. But when it's Christine, it's become a trend on Instagram, like good. I'm sorry, it's cliche, but it's the truth.
But it's true. And
so when there is business, it's okay. And when there is not, it's another story.
Unfortunately, very true. Have you faced any challenges as a dancer in France, a dancer and a dance company in France?
Yes, every day, in fact. What I also wanted to do is that I wanted to target the theaters. Because I never saw a professional North African dance show in a big theater. I saw some. For example, they brought very, very beautiful Tahtib Dance of the Nile group from Egypt in Musée du Quai Branly, that is a very beautiful museum with a beautiful stage. And it was amazing. And I said, why I cannot see this kind of shows every week? They can do once a program about Morocco and Algeria and Tunisia and Jordanian, Libya and Lebanon.
Yeah.
I will come every weekend. I will come. Paris is so full of theaters, of places.
Yeah.
So first I said, okay, we have beautiful picture. We are going to work or like communication, and I'm very lucky to have designers, professional designers in my group. So we are like having good look done. Yes. And then we had some opportunities internationally done. So I called the theaters. Hey, do you want to book us? Oh, yes, interesting. What are you doing? North African dances. Oh, no, in fact, oh, that's complicated. Why? But we can pay. And if we pay the theater, I don't know, I didn't have the money, but I said, hey, if we pay 10,000 euros, no, you know, but last year in the same place, there was a hip hop battle because they told me, no, we do contemporary dance. But I saw the hip hop battles for 2 days last year. No, you can try something else. So I was just like 1, 2, 3. Okay. So that was complicated, but I still have some hope because people like are more walking about diversity, inclusion, like or identity as kids of immigrants or immigrants. So they need us, in fact, and that's why little by little it's coming. But it's very painful because it's like we don't have a place in very elegant places like theaters. That was the main challenge. After there are other ones like people who are telling us Oh, you do belly dance. I have a lot of friends who are belly dancers. I love them, but we are not belly dancers. In fact, we are Brazil dancers or Middle East dancers, so it's different. So we have to educate people a lot, a lot. That's more than what I thought. In fact, yes. So a lot of energy by educating and.
Absolutely. Do you have, aside from the theater, do you have other places, other venues for you to perform, you and your group?
Yes, in fact, we do a lot of things that are very different. First, because our styles are different. So first, I wanted really to focus on very traditional dances, even if I had versatile dancers in my group. There is one who is specialized and teacher in Bollywood. I have hip hop dancers, voguing, house dancers, but I said, let's focus first because the Algerian has to have same level than the Moroccan in Moroccan dances, and so we worked hard, very hard, to have like 20 kind of different dances
Wow.
in same level. So that was the first step. After, now we are working on fusion on styles because we are fusioner, and this is an opportunity to have different kind of performance venues. So, for example, there are alternative parties in Paris where they are putting new kind of music that are amazing, like electro Arab music.
Oh, wow.
So they can book us. I can come like that with sneakers, a jacket, and like, oh, hey, you see. So and this is like innovative, and this is very linked to the style of music that is developed by very amazing new artists, emerging artists. But we can also be booked in a wedding. So this summer we are coming back to wedding, especially the mothers, the fathers are calling us. Yes, it's a surprise for my kids, and for my girl, my daughter. She's going. Please don't tell that you come. And oh yes, and generally the parents are calling us, and also cultural. Oh, sorry, that's me. Cultural festivals, also in France or internationally. That can be organizations, for example, Moroccan organizations or what, but that can be also dancers who are inviting us. And also we are working a little bit with like schools,
Oh,
yes,
good.
for education. And people, I'm very happy that people are booking more and more us for we created a dance conference.
Good.
So yes, we're explaining all the dances and we are performing live and coming back to the explanation. And so that means that people, they want to have some education and not only advertising. Yes.
Mhm. Are you doing any online events that people can find you or teaching or performing?
Not for now because we did a lot. We finished in June because it was the summer. So we are going to see, according to the sanitary condition, if we will come back to online classes. But now we are more focused on real events in Paris and around France. But we think, even if I never wanted to teach online before COVID, some people told me, oh, can you please give me private classes online? I said, I'm sorry, this is a social dance. If you come in Paris, I can. But finally, first lockdown, second lockdown, we said, okay, people are asking us. But in fact, it wasn't our students from Paris who logged. It was wonderful people from all around the world. So for them, I think we'll keep something online, but we
Good.
have to see. But for now, nothing is scheduled. We will see that in September, inshallah.
Okay. So you can, if you're interested in Raissa Lay's work and you want to study with her or interested in her performances and events, you can find her on social media. I will put the link in the YouTube description so you can find her. And it's so important. I mean, the social part, being in person to dance together, is what it's all about. But we need you. We need you way over here in Los Angeles and all over the world So if we can study with you and learn from you online, that's so important. And, you know, I hope that you'll continue.
Thank you. We will do.
Even just a little bit. And we have to have you come to LA. You have to come.
Yes,
And
I
things
already
get better.
came. I was with my car in LA, San Francisco. I already came, but for walking, in fact.
Yeah, I was gonna say we'll have to find out where that's happening because you know, I don't know, but you know, bring you and take you to some whacking events in Los
Yeah,
Angeles.
with
Um,
pleasure.
you mentioned your family a little bit. How does your family feel about your dancing?
Oh, I saw. I didn't finish, but lot of part of Khadija, wonderful Khadija live. I was just like, "Hey, you are my sister, Orti.
Didn't
We
she
have the same
wonderful?
struggles."
Yeah.
Well, my family, in fact, globally, they don't know. So some people are really surprised, like, "Oh, your family, they should be very proud of what you do for the culture." I said, I told this to very few people. When I say few people, my brothers, my sister, they are proud of it. Their kids, they know. And often I said, hey, shh, you don't say in front of Hannah. Hannah is grandma. Shh, shh. And they come with, the phone. Oh, Tata, Tata, that is you who is dancing on the street. Oh, no. I'm just like, and my mother, oh no, this is a hshuma. Hshuma means this is a shame, not shame. Yes, we say shame, like this is not convenient. This is not convenient. You are a woman, you cannot dance in front of people. And after, when she saw that it's growing, she said, this is good what you do about culture, but maybe you can just be choreographer and you don't show yourself. So my family is not supposed to be aware in Morocco because that will be like um, associated to bad reputation. A woman, she cannot dance in front of men, in front of people. Why? Because this is social dance, this is private. And me, I'm from Ujda, this is very conservative area. And women, they are dancing a lot, but just between women. And when the young girls, they dance in mixed weddings, now the mothers, they are scared because the guys are with their phones and they are scared that her daughters will be on the internet, because we see a lot of girls. When you are from Europe, you see them with kaftan and they just dance like that and they smile and they do that. It's not something that is very offending or what, offensing or what. But for the mothers, it's like you are on the internet. So if you are in the internet, this is the bad meaning you can imagine that they are linking to. So this is why I really hide it. But unfortunately, WhatsApp video that I had some videos that burst, and as I developed a regatta with women, that is a dance practiced by men. There were not a lot of women doing that, so my video, they were like shared, and finally they found me and they sent it to my mother, like, hey, isn't it your daughter, like? And hopefully nobody told me anything. I said, yes, I'm president of organization. I'm doing like a lot of cultural education. I'm teaching. So it looks okay, but I don't know what they are telling about me. And I have to tell the truth. I'm married. I have a kid.
Yeah.
When you are not married, they can tell a lot of things. When you are married, they say it's the business of the man, the husband. But my husband is okay, hopefully, even if he's Moroccan too, hopefully. But you see, it is still conservative, and this is why I cannot talk about that to my family. Everything in our culture is linked to the convenience, the education, the religion, and to have good reputation. It's very important for a woman. Yes.
And this is common throughout the Manat regions that we all face. And even for those of us born and raised outside of the home countries in America and France, still second, third generation, we still deal with these attitudes of, you have to have a good reputation, and it's hard. But I'm glad that your husband is accepting, supports
Yes,
you, and lets you still be with us, because so many wonderful dancers, and they have to stop dancing because they're going to get married or their family, and there's so many challenges,
yes,
right?
that's difficult. That's difficult to please everybody. That's difficult. But this is one of you said about the challenge. In fact, yes, I forgot this one. That is a big one. I really want to show that you can be from a good education, you can be educated, you can be graduated. This graduation helped me a lot also. When I go to Morocco, they called me Raissa. I didn't choose this name. They called me Raissa. Raissa is the feminine of Rais, that means president, because I'm president of organization.
Yeah,
Or they called me a doctora
yeah,
because I'm engineer. So that helped me a lot to break this bad reputation of the dancer, how we say shtaha. Shtaha means dancer in Moroccan Arabic, but
yeah,
it's pejorative. Shtaha. So this is also my aim, to show that we can have a good reputation, good life, and be a woman who is artist from North Africa, from Menat, living there or living in Morocco or living in France. So this is very important, and I'm also very involved in this topic for women from Morocco.
Hmm.
Because here we have a kind of freedom. I can do things and people that won't know. But in Morocco, everybody is aware of everything, and people that are talking maybe a lot. And so it's difficult, and you have to go back home early and things like that. It's so difficult. You cannot travel as you want. So I hope that, but I think that it is starting to evolve in some cities. It's starting.
Good, good. And I'm with you. That's my goal as a dancer, and with this group as well, to show that you can be an educated, intelligent woman, and you can be a dancer, and there's nothing wrong with that. And we're celebrating our cultures, and we're keeping the culture alive and sharing it, with people. So I'm glad that you're doing the work that you're doing. Um, what do you want to talk about that I didn't ask you? Is there anything that you want to share that outside of what we already spoke about?
Maybe, well, uh, I don't know. I don't know if people they can ask questions if they have, or I
I
don't know
did
if it's
I
possible.
did put out there, we have a lot of people saying they love your interview, and they're so
Thank you.
happy. Uh, Thank
Thank you
you for
so much.
speaking about this, but I don't have any other questions at this moment.
Yes. So maybe what I can add um, is maybe I can talk about the most common questions we are asked.
Sure.
Like people are asking us, how can I dance more ethically? How can I retribute to native people? What can I do? And they are really amazing people, because I saw a lot of people who suffered. I'm not the one who will tell, hey, we have been oppressed, we have been colonized, so we are suffering more than you, and just let us speak and you shut up. No, I'm not like that. I felt um, people, how we say in English, culpabiliser. They regretted a lot of things, what they were wearing, what they were dancing, and they felt bad, and they couldn't find a way to express this, because if they talk to native people, maybe native people will say, hey, who suffered the most, in fact, in this story? And if they talk to their teachers, the teachers, they will maybe reject the fault. And I saw people crying about this situation. And first, what I want to say is that I really, really, really thank people who did this work of like brainstorming, unconstructing all the beliefs, all they have been taught by very, very known teachers who are now also expressing their thoughts. This is amazing. I saw very famous people who I knew who were just like, I'm sorry, maybe I did cultural appropriation, where maybe I did this, I used it. And I found this very smart. This is the hugest step, in fact, to recognize the errors, to listen to people who are less famous than you. Because first, when I started to talk, some people told me, who are you?
Right.
Oh, you think that because I'm not as famous as you, you are, you know more. And I realized that a lot of people who are very famous, very access to business, they were lying. I saw some of them. It was really easy. 5 minutes, I could see some videos or what, really wrong. I saw an example. I'm not going to quote the country. No dramas anymore. This is the summer. I want to go to holidays. Same. Right. But I saw, for example, somebody promoting a workshop about Hawazi with the picture of a ouled nail from Algeria. And you are the most famous teacher in your country, please. So you see, I think that native people, they were not, they didn't have confidence enough to teach, to speak. Also, why there are a lot of people from diaspora like you, like me, like Amel Tafsoud, Subaya Mahoz, Khadija, because we can talk in English, we can talk in French, we have the tools, we have a computer, we have the internet, but there are a lot of people in our countries who cannot connect with others like this. So we are like a bridge between Europe and our original country. And we go very often there, and we know the social codes, but we know also the Occidental codes. So what I wanted to say is that I really appreciated all people who came to us, and I can tell you we had a lot of students, and we still have a lot of people supporting us to know more. And when they ask me, what should I do? In fact, I don't know what to answer to that, because I didn't create this style you are dancing, who were, yes, based on Orientalism, on colonial phantasms, on fantasies, what you call fantasies, not fantasy for most of times, or were created by French painters who were like naked woman dancing, but they never, most of them traveled to our countries. We are not recognizing in North Africa Orientalism. If Orientalism was just an artistical trend, every people from North Africa would have paintings on their wall of Orientalism. But it's not the case.
Yeah.
We found this very ugly, because this is not a reality. It's the eyes from the French or colonial painters. It was propaganda. So this is an example of how I'm more helping people to open their eyes through my coachings. I do, you said about online events, this is the one I remain, the private coachings, to make them have their own critical eyes. You can all have critical eyes. I can give some little tips. If you see black and white videos of or pictures of North African, we can put in an exception Egypt, because they have their own business in Yes, concurrence of Hollywood, like movie business, but it was also Egyptian people who were who wanted to copy a little bit American people. So it's an exception in North Africa. But for the rest, everything was ruled by French, Morocco, Algeria, Tunisia. All the business of photographies, pictures, postcards, videos, all in cinemas, etc. It was ruled by French organization until the independences, so the 56 for Morocco and Algeria and Tunisia, and 62 for Algeria. So that means that everything has been staged. This was not our real life. So first, when you realize that, you say, okay, I'm going to check. It's like you see the fake videos when you see Obama telling, hey, I'm having a McDo today. And in fact, they are blah, 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 changing. How it is called? I forgot the name. There is a name of it. Yes, but it was a trend, you see, of taking a real video, but changing the... For me, this is what is Orientalism. This is the
very much so. And what a great comment you made. If you've never seen these pictures in the home of a North African person or anywhere in the Swana, Manat region, then it's probably propaganda.
Yes, it's not about our culture. This is not something we want to promote.
No, and it's 2021, everybody. You have the internet. You can do research on anything about any region. You have people of experience and knowledge that you can talk to, the YouTube videos. There's so much that you can do to learn about the dances that you are doing, that there's no excuse anymore. 30 years ago, there was an excuse, we didn't know, we put 2 and 2 together and got 7. But now there's no reason that you cannot research. And I think it's also important to learn how to research because, like you said, a postcard, a video, a meme is not really a research subject. So
have to be very, and that will be maybe to sum up, careful to all that is material. We say material, like that you can, because we are a oral culture. We didn't write our history. It started after the independence. Some people, like researchers, native, started to publish a lot, starting the 70s, the 80s, and nowadays. But all that is before. It was not the native, the natural way of producing our culture. So that means that it's not authentic.
Right. And the reason that we're doing these interviews, because our dance and our culture has an oral history, and we need to document these dancers who are sharing their work and teaching and educating. So there is one question. I'm going to see if I can ask it for you from the comments section from someone named VM. Hi, VM, whoever you are. She says, how do you think class dynamics, talking about social class, work in this dance form? As far as social class among dancers and amongst the perception of the dance by those inside and outside of your culture of origin. Wow, that's a whole whole conversation.
To be sure, I correctly understood, it's the question about social classes or events with people who are not from the culture. Is it the question?
Both inside the culture and outside the culture.
Yeah, so how we feel that and what is our connection with that? It is the question, right? Yes?
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm just...
That's okay. It's, yeah.
Yes?
As far as, yeah. That sounds like what I think she's asking.
Okay.
Hard.
Just to come back to the life before coronavirus to tell you how we were used to work. So first, I had some people who were not native in my group because they expressed their love for our culture and they wanted to learn, and that was very good experience. Secondly, we decided to open classes in Paris, so 2 years ago, and also we have different people who are coming, and they are coming for different reasons. So some are coming because they are from our culture, and I was very surprised to see that the majority of our students are from the culture. That means that in fact there is a lack of transmission of our culture in Europe. So they want to in fact to live more experiences like once a week dancing with us, because that make them remind their culture or know more their culture, because you have to know that it is not because you are from a culture that you know the culture. Some people are not from the culture and they really know a culture, and vice versa. So that's true, that's not, and be careful also to some people who have told you, hey, I'm Arabic, I'm going to tell you and show you, and some maybe they don't know, maybe they just have a name. We saw some of people like that. Or other who are faking, who are like not native and in creating a business with a fake name and fake roots to sell you something. Well, that's another topic. But to come back to the question, people are coming for different reasons. And the most important is that, are we answering to the requests that they have? And I think so, because for the people who want to reconnect with their roots, we are providing that, because we are not giving technical classes also. We will do some zagrit, and Hakim, he will come and do hey. So we do something, we replicate like a mood, an atmosphere that is linked to our social atmosphere, like we are in the house. And all our students who are native, they tell us, oh, it's like I'm with my cousin, and me, I say, hey, do like I'm your mother, and I say, hey, dance. And sometimes it's like this. And for the others who don't know our culture, well, we provide both. We always start our classes with some cultural introduction about the meanings of what we are studying today, in which area we are, why, and then creating this atmosphere, and they can learn a lot of information, not only coming, replicating steps, and going home. That doesn't make any sense. No. If it was about that, I will do cultural appropriation also. So I try not doing this by replicating maybe what I call alternative MENA dances, because I will never be able in Paris. I mean, when I go back to Morocco, it's another story. But in Paris, we are like in a hybrid mood by creating this atmosphere in other ways. Because I'm not in all classes that will not have a wedding every week, so will not have a birthday every week, but everything is like, yes, festa, so like a party that we are replicating. And it's very important for us to have this behavior, and that will make the difference about other people where we have this authenticity of transmission.
Authenticity of transmission. I'm going to write that down, because that is so important. Authenticity of transition. See, I forgot it already.
That was
authenticity of transmission. I love it. I have a feeling we could stay here all night long and talk about so many things, but now we're almost getting to an hour and a half, right? And so I think that this is not going to be our only conversation. interview. And so we will continue this because there's so much to talk about, and you really, it's fascinating listening to you. You have so much to share, and I really can't thank you enough.
Thank you so much.
So everybody out there, please share this so other people see it. And if you have other questions, you can put them in the comments, and I'm sure Raissa or myself will answer them. And again, we'll put the links so you can find her and you can find me. I'm doing these interviews with a different artist of Manat heritage every week. So, you know, we're sharing our culture and our knowledge with you, and we're happy to do it. So before we finish, the one last question I like to ask is this. How do you want to be remembered as an artist? Like 100 years from now, they say, who was this dancer, this Moroccan dancer in Paris named Raissa Lay? What do you want them to think about or remember about you as an artist?
Ooh, very hard question, because
Right.
there are two things. There is like the emotional part, and everybody, let's be honest, has an ego. So like, yes, I want that people can remember me as having changed some things within French or international perception of MENA dances or Amazigh culture. That will be amazing. Like, oh, I can imagine myself having like a life with you in 30 years, like, oh, Roxxanne, you remember?
Yeah.
Now I'm old, I have my own school.
Inshallah. Inshallah.
Yes, when every time I'm talking or I'm doing something, I imagine myself old, like very old, like 80 years old, and like what should I, would I be proud of at this age? Maybe 80, I won't say see very good, so 70, okay, 70, like to be proud of during my life. So I'm trying to do a lot of things to please this old lady, because I don't have, unfortunately, my grandmothers anymore.
Mm.
Now I'm thinking about this old lady that I will be, and how I can make her proud by doing things today.
That's beautiful. That's a beautiful way to live. And you know, you have already had such a huge impact. And so thank you very much for what you do. And I can't wait to do this again. We have to talk more. So thank you. Thank you for staying up late in Paris for us. And thank you everybody who joined us. And again, please help support our work and our mission by sharing this video and letting people know about it. We appreciate you. And social media, I'll post the links in the description. And thank you all for your questions and for being with us. Raissa, you hang on for just a moment. I'm going to end our live to Facebook.
Thank you,
And
everybody.
hold on one second. Where do I end it? Yes, stop recording. Oops. Okay, I forgot how do I end on YouTube? Just when I think I'm getting better. There it is. Okay. Sorry, everybody. Thank you. Have a good one. Must